Hey, what's up everyone? So today I want to discuss the 7,000 year timeline that the Bible doesn't necessarily talk about, but it's just my studies and formulating ideas with everything else around it. So let's dive right into it so you can kind of have a better understanding what I'm talking about. Now this is going to get a little bit deep because I'm just that kind of guy. I get deep. A little nerd side of me, I think I told you guys. So, understanding God's 7,000 years timeline, current events, and biblical prophecies. The Bible kind of provides a comprehensive narrative of human history, right? Including the 7,000 years and end of time. No one knows when the end of the time is, but this lesson explores the timeline, examines how like the global events and prophecies that are happening, and by understanding these connections, we can kind of see where we're standing now, which is the end of time. Let's dive right into it, starting off with the creation, okay? In Genesis 1 through 31, the creation of the world in 6 days, and God rested on the seventh day. Is like it's interpreted by some as a pattern of human history, with each day is 1,000 years. And the 1,000 years came from like 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 8, where it says, with the Lord a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like 1,000 days. So this supports the idea that the 7 days of creation correspond with 1,000 years. Like I said, just me formulating my idea. Doesn't mean I'm all right about everything, because no one knows what God's plan is and how everything's designed. So let's cover the timeline breakdown, which covers the creation of Abraham, which is approximately 2 years, which is like, it covers like the lives of Noah, Adam, and Abraham. And now from Abraham to Jesus, that's another 2,000 years. So we're at a total of 4,000 years with just those two. So from Jesus until now, that's another 2,000 years. So from Jesus on the cross until right now, into this present moment, it's 2,000. So we're at a total of what? You guessed it, 6,000 years. So the next 1,000 years, which would make another 1,000, which makes 7,000. So let's discuss the events after the millennium. Revelation 20 speaks on when the 1,000 years are over, then Satan will be released from his prison. After the millennium, Satan will be freed to lead a final rebellion on earth. So, it gets deep, man. So the final rebellion, Revelations 20 verse 8 through 9. He will go out to deceive nations in the four corners. We'll see that now. Of the earth, Gog and Magog, and gather them for the battle. In numbers, they were all like sand on the seashores. Marched across the breadth of the earth and surrounded the camps of God's people, the cities he loves. But fire came down from heaven and devoured them. Satan will lead a final rebellion against God's people, ended in a divine judgment. But there's going to be another defeat and judgment of Satan in Revelation 20:10, and the devil who was deceived them was thrown into the lake of burning sulfur, where the beast and the false prophets are also thrown there with them. So keep playing with God. You're going to be going there too. No worries. I'm not arguing with you. They will be tormented days and night over and over. Satan will be cast into the lake of fire, making the end of evil. So right now, evil is so prevalent because he's running things for now. So the great white throne of judgment, right? So Revelation 20 verse 11 through 15. Then I saw a great white throne, and him who was seated on it. The earth and the heavens fled from his presence, because he's so powerful, right? And there was no place for them. And I saw the dead, great and small, standing before the throne, and books were open. Another book was open, which was the book of life. The dead were judged according to what they had done and was recorded in this books. Everything that we're doing is being recorded in heaven. Watch yourself. Sea gave up the dead and that were in it. Death and Hades gave up the dead that were in them. And each person was judged according to what they had done. And then the death of Hades were thrown into the lake of fire with Satan. The lake of fire is the second death. Anyone whose name was not in the written book of life was thrown into the lake of fire. The final judgment will determine the eternal fate of all people based on their deeds and their names in the book of life. So that means there ain't nothing to the final judgment, right? This is where you boy. So let's look at Revelation 21, verse 1 through 4, the new heavens on earth, right? So then I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and there was no longer any sea. I saw the whole city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as the bride, beautiful, dressed for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, "Look, God's dwelling place is now among the people, and he will dwell in them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God." He said, "Wipe every tear from their face. There will be no more death, mourning, or crying, or pain, for the old order of things has passed away." God will create a new heaven, a new earth, a new Jerusalem, descending, marking the end of suffering and the beginning of external joy. So all the suffering is only temporary. So let's dive into the connecting biblical prophecies with current events now. And the reason why I'm saying that, I'm saying, and my hypothesis of this is pretty much, we're in the beginning of the judgment. And I might be wrong, but look at current events that are happening and the biblical discussions of Revelation, what the Bible says the end of time is. We all see it. It's no secret. So we're in the end of time, pretty much. We always said it years and years ago in the 80s and 90s, but this is serious. And here's why. Number one, increase of global conflicts, current events, ongoing wars, and conflicts including recent tensions in the Middle East and Eastern Europe. Biblical prophecies, right? Matthew 24:6 verse 7 describes wars, rumors of wars, signs of the end of times. Does it not? Pandemics and health crisis, right? Current event like the coronavirus, COVID-19. It was a global health crisis. And what biblical prophecy speaks of it? Matthew 24 verse 7 mentions pestilence and disease as part of the end of time signs. Does it not? Natural disasters. This is no joke. We see it now. We have Italy sinking. We have the Antarctica melting at a rapid pace. And all these hurricanes and tornadoes out of nowhere. And you're mocking God. It's no joke. Look what's happening in Paris right now. They mock God, that blackout, and now there's a flood.
Now, call me old-fashioned, but I think God is a little pissed off with Paris right now. I mean, he has every reason to be, because that opening ceremony was as satanic as it could be. And it sure seems like a lot of things have been going on with Paris. I mean, they had the railway system attacked, they had fiber optic cables cut, they had a power outage, and now they have a giant storm coming their way. And this is all within the first week of the Olympic Games.
Don't mock God, okay? And everyone else that mocks God, celebrities and all, pay attention. Look what happened. All right, so current events, it says natural disasters such as hurricanes, floods, earthquakes, wildfire. Biblical prophecies in Revelation 6:12 through 14 describes catastrophic natural events as signs of end of times, moral decay and corruptions. Current events, rhizome, moral, and ethical issues. You guys heard me speak about the vice president and how she is the harlot and everything else. And here's a couple clips talking about that to confirm what I'm talking about. I've had videos on there. Here we go. Check it out.
Power. Not only she's dressed in purple. Hold on. Was the Bible right? Dressed in purple, wearing pearls. Say no more. Political and have power? Okay. Pearls. And all the jewels that John described. She's also pushing impurity on this nation and everything that's not of God.
He moved right off the ladder into the Senate and into the vice presidency.
Long before she met Doug Emhoff, she dated some prominent men, including in 2001, former talk show host Montel Williams. Back then, he was the famous one and had to introduce her to the paparazzi.
A young candidate tries to sleep her way into politics and into power. And that is what it appears Kamala Harris did when she was a young political aspirant in San Francisco, when she had an affair with a man 30 years older than she was.
So, biblical prophecy, 2 Timothy 3:1-5 predicts an increased moral decay and lawlessness in the last days. And of course, you guys saw the video of Revelation discuss that, etc. Rise of false teachings. Number 5, current events. False teaching and doctrines within, outside the church, and even inside the church, right? And that was talked about in Matthew 24, verse 11, and 2 Peter 2-1 warns about false prophets. And that is at the high. We have this new age practice that's going out of craziness, and everyone else is turning to evil. And everyone is accepting Babylon times behaviors, period. We got people in the White House acting stupid as leaders, and it's just a lot of craziness, right? And number 6, persecution of Christians. We see street preachers out there getting beat up, shot, punched in the face, and mocked, and you name it, man. It's been at the all-time high. And I was watching a video. This pastor in Canada was having church in his house, got arrested. So I mean, the Bible speaks on that, and that talks about it in Matthew 24:9 and Revelation 6:9-11, foretelling significant persecution of believers before the end of time, which is at the all-time high right now. It starts on the top from the White House all the way down. It's crazy right now. Number 7, global economic instability. Events of economic downturns, financial crisis, inflation in the market, etc., etc. We see it, hard times. The Bible talks about it, and it's at the all-time high right now in Revelation 13, verse 16-17. Hits a system of economic control and surveillance in end times nigh.
Elon Musk launched a bold new venture with the U.S. Department of Defense. Imagine a sky filled with hundreds of satellites, not just any satellites, but a network designed for espionage, commissioned by U.S. intelligence. SpaceX secured a whopping $1.8 billion contract with the Department of Defense. It is setting the stage for a global surveillance system, the likes of which we've never seen before. This isn't just about providing internet from space, it's about watching, listening, and collecting data on a scale that positions SpaceX at the heart of global geopolitics and warfare.
Things to be surveilled. Alexa, our phones, our smart TVs, you name it, that's what it's talking about. And that's what it's happening right now. And this is just the beginning of it, all right? The rise of secularism and atheism. Yeah, we all see it. It's no secret. Evil and Satanism and everybody else is all team devil. You can stay there, but your time is coming. Biblical prophecy, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3-4 talks about, the rebellion against God, right? Number 10, global climate changes and environmental issues. We only discuss that. We see it, right? Number 11, formation of global alliance, which, increase of formation of international alliance and geographical shifts involving nations like Russia, China, Iran, which is biblical prophecy. Ezekiel 38 through 9 discusses alliance and conflicts involving specific nations in the last day of times. Rise of global and one world government concepts. We hear that happening, and that talks about that in Revelation 13. Increased focus on Middle Eastern prophecies. Take a look at this, and of course we have Zechariah, Revelation, that talks about this, and many other chapters. So these are just kind of aligned with what the Bible is saying, and it's happening now. So everyone that mocks the Bible and says it's fake, how could timelines that are happening now, that was written thousands of years ago, comes into provision now of current events that are happening, right? Especially the harlot woman and the Olympic. Let me take a second to discuss that. Coming in with a white horse, nations behind it, people, I'm gonna be honest with you, that was the beginning. That wasn't them mocking, that was prophecy happening, and that was the devil himself introducing and saying, it is time. All the nations for the Olympic was riding behind, they were mocking him. That was the introduction of the devil walking in and said, it's time, let's get down and get dirty. And everyone's sitting there laughing like idiots, supporting that, not realizing we just entered the end of time, what prophecy spoke about. What you're looking for, a scroll that pops out and say, hey, this is it, this is what, it just happened. And everything else is happening with it. Let's wake up, people. This is no joke. Wake up. So, the rise of technology and so on, that talks about Revelation 13, the chips and technology-driven systems and everything else. So I'm wrapping it up. I know it was a lot that I said, but what I'm saying is facts. It correlates with the 7,000 years that I'm talking about. And the time, man, it's time to live for God. It's time to represent. It's time to fight as Christians. It's time not to be scared and just live your life right, man. We're in the end of times, and people are going to mock you. It's so funny that you won't get mocked and looked down on to worshiping rocks and crystals and doing cards and everything else. But the moment you're saying you're following Jesus Christ, you have mental issues, the society shuns from you. It makes you look like you're crazy. But go ahead and say, I'm going to pray to this rock and, oh, with my third eye, kumbaya. Everyone will look at you stupid for hoping a rock can change your life. But you pray to God and open your Bible and read it, oh, they have mental issues. Something's wrong with them. I'm fighting for Jesus, not some rock and the devil and all that. I'd rather be an idiot and you not like me, because I'm a soldier for Christ, because that's who I am. So it's time for us to wake up and what is that? It's kind of street of me. Lay down or stay down. I'm not doing neither. I'm a warrior for Christ and I'm going to stand strong. So we need some soldiers of Christ to stand up right now in this time period and let's fight for Christ. I'm out.